Okay, Israel. Hope everybody is doing well today. Hope everybody's Shabbat weekend was productive. Shout out Kawakab and his congregation in Guatemala, and also from California to Georgia. Hope your brothers and sisters are doing well today. Shout out Kazaki, SOW Virginia, SOW Houston, Quantazop, and SOW Rochester, New York, Zion, and all the brothers and sisters in those three camps. I hope your brothers are doing well today. The topic of today's class is the importance of counseling in the right spirit. A lot of us are gaining families, getting ribs, increasing in responsibility, and I don't think as Israelites we're taking seriously the magnitude of how we carry the position of young steward, young counselor, head of household, counselors in homes, and same thing with sisters, because this is the same responsibility that elder sisters have when they're counseling with sisters, and the responsibilities they have raising children also. So if you're going to be a counselor, this is something you got to be conscious of: raising children, counseling with sisters, brothers counseling with brothers, counseling with ribs and sisters, and handling this type of responsibility. And a lot of us, we look at other people and we try to imitate what other counselors are doing, but not really understanding the spirit that you have to be in to successfully counsel, to successfully develop, to successfully put things together in the right way. So we're going to go over the next few weeks of class dealing with how to properly counsel. Because you'll sit back and see an elder talk certain times, raise his voice other times, chastise other times, give people breaks other times, and not really know why there's this variation of counsel. Or what I've seen over the years, younger men that are coming up in the work, as soon as they get a badge or a rank, they want to sit back here and step on toes and drop people and enforce people and be the hardest SOB in the streets, because now it's their time to sit back here and step on toes and enforce people. But so we're going to sit back here and start going into what's the right spirit in counseling. And then later on, as we progress in these classes, we're going to start deep diving into different type of personalities that Israel has when they counsel. We're going to try to dissect it and properly explain to Israel how we should counsel, how we should develop our nation, and how we should teach and inspire the ones we are called to be responsible for. Because what we don't realize is all of our flaws and all of our deficiencies in who we are. We end up sitting back here and making messes of the people we're responsible for. And we're going to show how we make messes. And before we go into all that, we're going to just show the importance of speech, the importance of the words we use, the importance of the word choices, and the importance behind the intent behind our counsel and communication. And that's what we're going to start off. So once again, whether it's husbands and wives, fathers and daughters, fathers and sons, brothers and brothers, sisters and sisters, this is something that I think as in our camp really has to be worked on. And I think in other camps probably do too. So if anybody else is buffering, let us know, because I don't hear any buffering on our end or any weirdness on our end. So first verse you're going to go into is Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 27 and verse 17.
Come. Ecclesiastes 27 and 17. Love thy friend and be faithful.
Oh, I'm sorry, 27 and 7. I put 17, but it's not 17, it's 7. Salaki.
No problem. Ecclesiastes 27 and 7. Praise no man before thou hearest him speak, for this is the trial of men.
Listen, it's very important not to give anybody credit until you hear a person counsel, until you hear a person talk. It kind of lets you know rank and all these positions and all these accolades we all get really doesn't matter unless you have the capacity to communicate properly and to properly convey a message, can properly teach, properly inspire, properly develop. And we can't be so quick just to respect somebody just because, hey, I'm this guy. Now, does that mean there's supposed to be blatant disrespect? Hell no. And I'm not. This is not a class about disrespecting men. This is not a class that carnal-minded men should use to justify, to be disrespectful. Because the problem is, this is supposed to be inspiring all of us who are already trying to be spiritual men, not ammo that certain carnal men will use to justify why they don't serve. Because we just went in last 2 weeks about what? Scorning? Scorners, contemners, people that look for the weakness in people. So that's not what this is about. So if that's what you want to use as ammo to justify rebellion, you can go leave and come back to a class that's going to cut you. Because that's not what this is about. This is about explaining the importance and the work that comes into defending this position of leadership. This is about detailing. That's why, when I did the subtitles of what this class is about, it's really a leadership class. And as much pressure as we put on younger men or sisters and people in the camp to make adjustments and to be in order, that same level of pressure needs to be put on ourselves to sit back here and convey the best message to students, to eliminate any flaws as much as possible, so that the message of Christ can be as pure and clear to whoever we're responsible for bringing that message to. Does that make sense so far? So read verse 7 again.
Ecclesiastes 27:7. Praise no man before thou hearest him speak.
But a lot of times we want to sit back here and hide behind our rank, hide behind our years of experience to justify why people have to follow us and people have to disobey us. And as long as we have that type of thinking, we become lazy, disconnected, and we can get cavalier with our words. We can get disjointed with how we communicate with people. And we can't operate like that if we want the Most High in Christ to continue to bless us. We have just as much of pressure and responsibility to keep working on refining our speech, refining our communication, as the other person has to submit and to be in order and to make changes and to be humble. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yes.
So you're saying like obligation, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
We have a I don't even say obligation. We have a responsibility.
Okay.
We have a responsibility to make sure that as teachers and leaders, we're working on how we carry ourselves just as much as we put pressure on younger men and sisters and wives and family and children to make changes. Because it's so easy to have a one-sided way of applying pressure to demand this and demand that. But how do you carry yourself?
When you're under
We
pressure.
want this perfect response, this perfect child to respond to us. We want this perfect wife to respond to us. We want these brothers to respond to us, but we can just act how we want. We can be disjointed, disrespectful, emotional, out the spirit, and people just have to obey. And the truth is they do. But what does that show about your leadership skills? Your ability to speak. So once again, verse 7 is telling us, praise no man before thou hearest him speak. And especially hear him speak under pressure. Hear him or his or her speak when they're not getting what they want out the deal. This is how you really know where a person's at. And if they're really capable of leadership, really capable of counseling. How you talk when the heat is on. How you communicate when the pressure is on. How do you communicate when you're tired? How do you communicate when you're down? These are things that we have to be conscious of when we're speaking, because you know damn well other people are looking at you. And we can't have this disjointed thinking that I can just talk how I want to talk, roll how I want to roll because I have rank. Because I'm your mama. So you got to just lock into me.
Wow.
I have this position, so I can just be disrespectful all damn day long, and you just got to adapt.
I could be brutish.
But that's one of those words that we got to go into. Those are one of those words we will get into.
Right.
But let's continue. We're going to let that verse go. Matter of fact, he says, praise no man before thou hearest him speak. Read on.
For this is the trial of men.
What is the trial of men? How men carry themselves in their communication and how they deal with one another. How we deal with one another is one of our major trials in how we live. How do we carry ourselves?
Because the Most High holds you to the same standard you speak.
That's
why it's a trial. I said, oh, you said this, and this is important.
And this is how you treated this person?
Okay, I'll remember that. Now, I'll see if you're justified to say that.
That is the point. And the reason is it's the trial of men because you have to be looking at yourself and really monitoring how you communicate to people, how you treat people, how you deal with people, because you're going to be measured the same way by the Most High. We're going to find verses to prove that. We can pull all the justified this and I have rank and I'm your mother or I'm your husband. We can pull those BS cards all we want. But it doesn't justify how we carry ourselves. And the Most High sits back here and stings us in our life and judges us based upon how we deal with one another. Let's let that verse go and go to Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 17.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 17 reads, for the hand of the artificer, the work shall be commended.
So what is an artificer? An artist, a person that works with his hands to create something. It could be metal works. It could be any type of art. It could be clay. It could be whatever the case is. And based upon the production of what you bring to the table out of your hands to make something prosper, okay, is how you're judged. Yeah. Pretty much you're judged by your works. If my job is to be an artificer, I'm going to be judged on how well and how skillful the craft is based upon what my hand brings to the table.
The quality of what you produce.
If I'm a tile man, my work is. My lines have to be proper. Everything has to be put together the right way. So we're all judged in the same way by our works and how we carry ourselves, whether things are convenient for us or not. Read the next line.
And the wise ruler of the people for his speech.
He says the wise ruler is judged on how he talks to them. So let's take the king out of the picture because there is no kings anymore. Brothers want to act like they're kings of the household. I'm the king of the house. Or I'm the parent. So I deserve this respect. So okay, if you deserve this respect as a parent or a king or as a head, then the Most High, what we don't realize is we are being judged on how we communicate to our subjects. How about that? We're not taught enough that how we communicate with one another, even in the position of leadership, is a major aspect of how the Most High judges us and how people judge us. We think because we have rank, we have authority, we have been elevated by a brother or a scenario, then we can talk and communicate and say how we want based off how we feel. But that is not the case. Just like an artificer or a person that works with his hands is judged off of his works, we are judged based off how we talk to the ones that are subordinate to us. Why is this important? Because we have a responsibility to be in order and to respect and to treat the student or the wife or the brother or the sister with just as much as respect as we want to be respected. But too many times, when Israel gets in a position of authority as an elder sister, elder brother, elder person, then we think we can just talk to people how we want to talk to people. We can just be crude, disrespectful, condescending, as much as we feel like it, because we have rank and I have knowledge and I have a superior message to drop on you. So now that I have a superior message from my experience, I can just speak how I want. I can react how I want. I can talk how I want. I can be disrespectful all I want. We don't have that right as being leaders, as being individuals that are responsible for other individuals. Yes.
We expect respect being disrespectful.
Yes. That's the point. We expect respect, but we don't take the time to sustain the spirit of respect to the people that we're trying to teach respect to. So all we're doing is teaching our children that it's okay to be a hypocrite. You gotta lock into me, but don't lock into you gotta lock into me, but don't look at my negative conduct. Don't look at my disrespect. Don't look at me being in order. Don't look at that. But you have to be in order. And this is why the leader is judged by their speech, just like a worker or a laborer is judged by their labor. But we don't look at things that way. We just sit back here and put people through things because of how we feel. We put people through things that have to just suck it up and eat it because they don't have leverage out of it. Classes like this are geared to let even the person that has rank, position, and responsibility to keep them on their toes. We have to learn how to choose our words wisely, how to inspire people, to remove that ego and pride that's so heavy in us, to pull that out of the way so we can properly deal with people. He's letting us know the Most High. Listen, the person that's under you might not have a voice, but the Most High is judging you on how you talk and how you come off to people and how rude and crass we have tendencies to be. It still goes back to that malignant root or malevolent root. It was both words we talked about. It still goes back to that. We want position and authority, but we're hateful and ungrateful people.
Yeah.
And we just sit back here. A lot of times we bring the worst out of our people, but expect obedience and appreciation. And then wonder why people just do what they're told and they move away from you. And they work around you as quickly as possible. Let those two verses go. And go to... Read verse 17 again. I'm sorry. Read verse 17 again.
Come. Ecclesiasticus chapter 9 and verse 17 reads, "For the hand of the artificer the work shall be commended, and the wise ruler of the people for his speech."
So listen, we're commended by our works. We're commended by our speech, right? But in order for our speech to be commended, what has to come along our speech? Now we go there and go to Proverbs 12 and 8. If we're going to be commended based upon our speech, then what has to be a part of our speech?
Yeah.
For the Most High to acknowledge, respect it, and honor how we talk. So what this class is today is tries to set the tone for how we're supposed to speak to people. The spirit we're supposed to speak to people in. For the Most High to say, okay, they're working on themselves. They're correcting, they're developing, but it's in my spirit. Because when you hear about the spirit of wisdom, you're also hearing about the spirit of Christ. It's the same thing. Before Christ came and explained being in his spirit, spiritual men talked about being in the spirit in words of being in the spirit of wisdom. Okay? Now Israel today looks at wisdom and really thinks of wisdom as prudence, manly logic, and this basic intelligence is what we look at wisdom as to be. But back in those days, being in the spirit of wisdom was really being in the spirit of Christ, and I'm going to prove that. So, let's read Proverbs 12 and 8.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse 8. A man shall be commended according to his wisdom.
A man is going to be commended according to their wisdom. But we just read in Ecclesiastes 9 and 17 that we're commended also based upon our speech. So we're commended based upon our speech if it's in the spirit of wisdom. If it's in the spirit of communicating in the spirit of Christ. We're tying this in. We're building this up. Okay. From there, and this class might go a little short because the way it's feeling, it's going to go short quick. But I don't want to mix multiple topics in with one another. So we're going to sit back and focus on one thing, and then go to the next. So next verse is Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, chapter 4, in verse 24. Let me get it real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 4. In verse 24. Hold on. Let's read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 24.
Let's go.
By speech wisdom shall be known.
See, now this ties in. By how you talk to people lets you know how much wisdom you're rolling with. Just because you might have information, just because you might have verses, just because you might have a breakdown or two, doesn't mean you're rolling in the spirit of wisdom. Just because you've been around class for a period of time doesn't mean that your speech means you really understand the spirit of wisdom. We speak all day, and most of the time we have breakdowns, we have information, but we're brute beasts. We're disrespectful. We're hateful. We tear people down. We fail to inspire one another. All Israel knows how to do is correct and chastise. Young, inexperienced idiots can see a problem. Am I right or wrong? Anybody can sit back and say, there's a problem with you. I don't like what I see. But the problem with most Israelites is we stay fixed on the fact that I see a problem and I'm going to keep talking about a problem. And a lot of us that operate in that spirit, the Most High is showing, you can tell by a person's speech, what they hyper-focus on in their speech, that they don't have wisdom.
Can I pull it?
In a second. I'm going to say it again, just to clarity. Because what Israel wants to do is when they see their rib off, they tell them that they're off. And they hyper-focus on their negative, they're negative, they're negative, they're negative. They tear down, they tear down, they tear down, and they get annoyed. And anything that makes them feel that they're being challenged when they're saying that they're annoyed. We do this all the time. And we do it with our children too. All we do is tear down, tear down, tear down, tear down, and tear down. And we're very skillful at retaliating to negative communication.
Yeah.
And that's why the scripture says you can tell by a person's speech where their wisdom is at. Because if the communication continues to be negative and toxic and negative and toxic, that's how you know
Can't hide.
there's no wisdom.
You can't
Or your
hide.
wisdom is limited.
Yeah.
Because when you're dealing with a person that understands the spirit of wisdom, the communication and the tone and the spirit behind the speech and the message is different. And we're going to go into what that tone is and what that message is for students to know and for leaders to learn. Now listen, the student still has to follow and obey, because the scripture says we're supposed to obey the froward, which is the disobedient communicator, or the gentle communicator. You got to obey both. And if the Most High got a froward person over you, you still got to lock in. And you still got to respect that person, because who put that froward person over you? Maybe there's something froward in you that the Most High uses, that sees, and puts a froward person over you to bring that out of you. So there's no escape for running from the forward person. I want to remind that point. But as leaders, because we're forward, because we're emotional, and all we know how to do is correct, what we're showing the Most High is that we do lack wisdom. And lacking wisdom meaning the Spirit ain't really with you and how you do with your people. We think we got this. It's like we got these scriptures. We have this loaded weapon. And we want to point and shoot at everybody we can shoot. We want to cut everybody you can cut. And normally when people are just wrapped into cutting and correcting and chastising, you know that person is young. But once again, we see this amongst men in their households. It's just cut because you pissed me off. I don't like how you said this. I don't like how you did this. I don't like how you looked at me. I'm just going to cut. I see it with sisters. It's all chastisement and no love. It's all fire and no mercy. It's all, I'm just going to tell you 1,000 ways how you're off and how you're not good enough, and then get away. That's how sisters, some, I'm not going to say all, some. And they think they're in the spirit because they check people all the time. And they're keeping it real. Really, you're keeping it hateful. That's what it is. You're keeping it hateful. Because there is a way through your speech to convey the lesson. Establish a correction. And still give people hope. We'll go on all this in a little bit. I'm just setting the tone for what we're dealing with. Read verse 24 again.
24?
Yeah.
God. For by speech wisdom shall be known, and learning by the word of the tongue.
Listen, you'll know how intelligent or spiritually intelligent a person is based off how they communicate to people. And this is not about, the reason I'm having you hold off on this verse, because this verse that comes right behind it. It's not about, I'm a college graduate. And because I'm a college graduate, I have the words to communicate, to convey a message to another person. And it has nothing to do with your educational equivalence or how far you went to school. So I want people to take that out of their mind when they're thinking about speech. When you're operating in the spirit of communication, or your spirit of wisdom, you should be able, whatever your vocabulary is, whatever your understanding of information is, you still have to have the ability to not be destructive in your communication, to not be hateful in your communication. And the fact is that we are hateful in our communication shows how out the spirit we are. It shows how disconnected we are from the Lord when we can't find and muster the love and the respect to talk to our children properly, to talk to students properly, to talk to brothers properly. Read verse 24 again.
God. For by speech wisdom shall be known.
People will know you by how you communicate. We haven't gone into what wisdom means in relation to speech. We haven't gone into that yet, but we will. But you'll know if a person is speaking in the spirit of wisdom or if they're speaking in a sensual, devilish spirit, which is earthy.
Yeah.
Which is of that base root. And it has nothing to do, low-level, devilish, earthy, and it has nothing to do with how many words and how educated you are. Because there's a lot of educated people that talk hateful, that are disrespectful, that are rude and condescending when they communicate. So, let that verse go and go to 2 Corinthians 11 and 6. What you going to say now? Yeah. What verse you got? I'm not asking what verse because
21:7 from Ecclesiastes. It's perfect. It's right where you're at.
I just want to make sure it's not part of my classes down the line. There's like other classes.
I know it's not.
I have like this is the first one.
I know this class.
Hold on, man. No, you don't. This is new. This is fresh off. This is fresh off the skillet, bro.
The spirit of this class.
What's that?
The spirit of this class. I'm familiar with. I have a description. Right?
This is a good one. I don't have this one.
It's delicious.
Yes, it's yummy, right?
Good food for the spirit.
Yeah. Go for it.
Ecclesiasticus, chapter 21, verse 7 and verse 8. verse 7 and verse
If you're
8.
dancing in Ecclesiastes, you'll be okay. You'll be
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna be okay. It's like so many scriptures in Ecclesiastes. Can't all be in one class.
I thought I had them all. I was wrong.
Ecclesi.
I thought I had them all. Like I was like, I got to do 3 classes because there's so many words about evil tongue. Anyway,
Ecclesiasticus 21 and verse 7 and verse 8.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 21, verse 7. An eloquent man is known far and near.
An eloquent man, a good speaker, a good communicator, is known what?
Far and near.
Now, what is when the topic about a ruler is judged or is trial is based on his speech. The trial of a ruler is
I just want to make sure eloquent. This is not about college boy communication.
Yeah.
This is about knowing how to use words to uplift and not destroy. That's eloquence. Can I use words to bring the best out of my people, or do I use words and make situations more toxic?
but men are still talking and looking for angles to cut.
Yeah.
Because
That's the
there's
point.
men that are skillful at debating.
Yep.
And skillful at cutting. One-sided counselors.
Huh?
Right? One-sided, one-dimensional counselors.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So eloquent man or a man has the ability to cut skillfully. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is known near and far. Read.
Mm-hmm.
An eloquent man is known far and near,
Uh-huh.
but a man of understanding knoweth when he slippeth.
Because the true wisdom is the Spirit of Christ.
Yep.
And if the Spirit of Christ does not emanate from your speech, a man of understanding can perceive, is this speech Christ-based, or this is how you feel? Are you vexed?
Yep.
Are you annoyed? Are you inconvenienced?
Yep.
Are you not getting what you want? And now,
Now I'm angry.
Now
Now I'm debative, and now
Yeah.
I'm agitated. Now I'm going tit for tat with you. Now
Yeah.
I'm checking you, and now I'm running circles around you verbally, making you feel like
because I can
dog crap.
out-talk you because I'm in class every day and I'm getting corrected every day. I
know the rigmarole.
I know the game.
Yeah.
I'm initiated, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm always around counsel, so I can use this to my power because I know you can't do it.
Yep.
But a man of understanding can hear a speech, weigh the words,
And know when he's in the wrong
so, nah,
spirit.
that dude's out the spirit. I get what he said logically, but you're not in the spirit of Christ.
Or you know when even you know yourself.
You did something wrong. That was wrong.
Yep.
That was off.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yes.
That's the obviously
God.
they're off. But your speech and how you're dealing with the problem, you have multiple options. Did you choose the worst option
God.
for that issue?
You was having this bad day.
There's 15 different ways to do a counsel. There's 15 different ways to correct a problem. There's a million different ways to do it. What was the caliber of choice you chose to correct that problem? There's so many different brothers that do it different ways. A war has his way of counseling. I watch. Pastor One has a way of counseling. I've had previous elders. They had their ways of counseling. I had some other brothers. They had their way of counseling. They let you just hear yourself talking, and then you got to hear yourself saying something stupid. This sounds really stupid.
But however the methods might be different. But what spirit are you in?
But what spirit do
That's
you
the
select? Because the goal, I'm not going to say the goal. We'll get to that point later. But your angle at counseling, a man of understanding can see that a Christ-based angle, or is that just you?
Yep.
How selfish is the angle?
Hold on.
All right, keep reading. This is
Verse
part
8.
to get you.
Ecclesiasticus 21, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
He that buildeth his house with other men's money.
Other men's money is skills.
Resources.
So you build your house with other men's skills. Because what we do, you're supposed to trace and copy, imitate, and learn from your people around you. Yes, you're supposed to do it. That's the problem with brothers. Brothers will
You gotta
trace.
slow that down.
Okay, brothers will. You're supposed to use your elders and skillful men and skillful examples. You're supposed to use their abilities as your resource to build. Right? I'm supposed to learn everybody's skill set to make myself a better whatever in the truth. Counselor, teacher, worker, brother, manager, whatever I'm called to be. Right? This is the problem though. It says other men's money or other men's skill sets and values. I built my house using the techniques and tactics and skills that I've learned. Read.
He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial.
How can a person adapt and take other men's skills and abilities to build his house, and then it ends up being like a burial tomb, a tomb that people die in or bury in? Because you borrowed the men's skills, but you didn't believe in that process. You didn't believe. When the brother told you to be patient, you thought it was a tactic. The brother told you to be patient so you can really get the root of a problem. You thought patience was a manipulation tactic. You're thinking these techniques and these counsels are tactics. You're not believing in the spirit and the process of what you're being taught. You're just borrowing game. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. You're using game. You're collecting game to get what you want to build your house, which is, I get the idea. But when you don't have the spiritual principle and you haven't mastered what they're really saying, the root of what they're saying.
And that's the point. We're imitating and not really understanding the spirit of how you're supposed to operate when you're counseling, when you're teaching, and when you're developing.
Exactly.
Well, let's just continue though. I want to get to a point, then we can kind of expand it out.
I had the point right there. I'm sorry, slightly. But the point is, you're supposed to, Scripture says a wise man hears a word and adds unto, or he makes it his. You're supposed to make your counselor's way of doing things your own personal beliefs. I believe his angle, because I've seen it work, and I believe it for myself. So now it's mine. But if you don't really believe in it for yourself, because you're just using it as a tactic, it's just a technique to woo a woman, or to woo a student,
something.
Or to get something. These are tactics. The Most High won't bless what you're doing, and it ends up becoming
and that's why I'm trying. Yeah. The reason I'm cutting it a little bit is we're building up to it.
Okay.
And I don't want to take it too far down the line and then come back up.
Right.
And then get back down again.
Gotcha.
So let's go to 2 Corinthians 11:6. And what we were tightening up was our wisdom, what our speech connects to our wisdom. And you can tell how much wisdom a person has by their speech and by their learning. We're going here because I want to make sure that we understand that eloquence, speech, and learning isn't about if I got a 4 or 5 year, 6-year master's degree from a college. That doesn't make me eloquent. That doesn't make me be in the spirit of wisdom when I'm speaking. And what Paul is going to explain is going to clearly give answer to that. 2 Corinthians 11:6.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 6. But though I be rude in speech.
So listen, the funny thing is, he says, though I be rude in speech. When you look up in the Blue Letter Bible, rude just means unlearned or uneducated. He's not saying, forget all this cuz, all this blankety, potty mouth talk. That's not what rude means. He says, even though I am uneducated and unlearned in my communication, read on.
Yet not in knowledge.
Yet not in the message. The message is potent. I just might not have all the big words to explain the message. So this is a good thing for all of us who might not have gotten the words and learn information and learn how to put words in certain sequences to look a certain way. It's not about that. If you got it, great. But if you don't have it, it's not a knock against you. So that's not the determining factor about your speech. And if the Most High is going to approve your speech. Okay? Read on.
But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been thoroughly made manifest
No, that
among you.
that says throughly made.
Oh, throughly made.
Mm-hmm.
But we have been throughly made manifest among you in all things.
And what he says is, well, throughly, I had it, and I might have put it somewhere else. Throughly means we have. Let me look it up. Let's look it up. Let's go Blue Letter Bible, because I had it. I want to go here again. 2 Corinthians 11:6. Yeah, I think so. Throughly. Hold on, let me try to wait till this thing gets to it. Individually. What you got?
Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Individually. Says each, every, any, all, the whole, everyone, all things, everything, collectively.
So what is he saying? He says, but though I be uneducated in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been like collectively made manifest among you in all things. What is Paul saying? Paul didn't operate in secrets. Paul didn't operate in, I'm not going to let you see this in me. Paul's life was an open book and there was nothing to hide. That's one of the first things that you have to have if you are a great speaker, great communicator. It's honesty. It's directness. Too many of us, we want to sit back here and get somebody to focus on what they don't do, but they don't want nobody seeing me. We're very good at that. Okay, the video's cutting on and off. I don't know what the hell to do. So, okay, well, you said, yeah. Hey, hopefully maybe when it cuts back off and we stop it, it'll come off smoothly. Because it does that sometimes. So, he says, Paul is saying, is that we have collectively made manifest, we've been collectively made manifest amongst all of you in all things. One of the keys to being eloquent in our speech and great about our speech is our honesty and our openness in our communication. A lot of us don't want to be honest and open in our counsel. Our life, we don't want to have our life an open book. And when we start operating in this darkness, how is our speech and our communication going to be potent when we're dabbling and hiding in all the secrets we have amongst ourselves? That is a major point of counseling, teaching, and developing. Honesty, directness about the things that a person has to change, and the honesty about the things that you got to change. But we're so concerned with power and leverage. We don't want to be honest on both ends. Because we want to sit back and maintain our leverage at all times. Because we fear that if we're honest, people are going to throw our weakness in our face and not change. So he's just saying, hey, we've been thoroughly made manifest in front of y'all. There's nothing that we're hiding. There's no ulterior motive that we have in the midst of our communication with you. And that is a major aspect of, we're not rude in our speech. Our message is direct and it's hitting. The next verse is going to give more clarity. So we're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and 10.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 10. For his letter.
Oh, I got to type it in. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 10.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 10. For his letters, say they, are weighty and powerful.
Our message. You know, he didn't have any platforms like YouTube or any internet, so he was going to be writing letters to different churches that he had once been to. That was the only way of communication back then. And what he's saying is, hey, he was known. He had maybe uneducated speech. Because you'll sit back here and read them. If you've read like one page of Philo, you'll sit back and say, this guy is... My brain's burning reading this damn book. You sit back here, he's super Greek. Like, this guy is the super smartest guy on earth. Everything's a metaphor. He's the most smartiest smart guy in the world. But you'll sit back and see Paul doesn't talk like that. But his message is way more potent. You'll read Philo and be like, okay, this guy is just a fake smart guy acting like he's on a level, giving information. That's why it's not the Bible. This guy is an historian. And you can tell a guy who's writing storybooks, history books, versus a guy that's delivering the word of the Heavenly Father. You'll read a Eusebius, so you'll read these guys back in those days and you know, that guy, spirit ain't with him like that. He's just rehearsing what he saw. But he said, Paul, everybody knew Paul's message was weighty and powerful. This is what we're supposed to be patterning our teaching off of. But you can't teach with weight and with power if it's mixed with darkness. if it's mixed with hiding, if it's mixed with deflecting just everything that you do wrong and you just hyper focus on what you got to fix. A lack of accountability can't be part of the message if it's going to be weighty and powerful. What made Paul's message so potent is that he lived every word he taught. I see counselors checking people on things they got to do that the person got to do, but they don't do it themselves. Checking them on, you don't study. Well, you don't study. Checking people on conduct. Well, you're disrespectful. Why are you talking to this? It's about being rude out of the spirit, and you're out of the spirit and rude. You're checking people about being negative and have negative outlooks, but you got negative outlooks. And wonder why your message isn't resonating. You want your child to be respectful to their elders, but you ain't respectful to your husband. And wonder why your message doesn't hit, doesn't drop. And you want to go through all these different Q&As about why don't my children listen? Because you don't listen. It's very simple. Why we have to go to all these different places to figure out the why? They don't like it because you don't like it. It ain't deep. I don't got to ask 1,000 people the same question. Why don't this woman, she don't like it and she don't listen to nothing I say? Or do you just simply look at yourself? Do you listen to your elders? Do you respect them? You're sizing them up every single day and wonder why she's sizing you up every single day. The message only hits when you're living it. You get respect when you live a life of respect. It just proves a lot of us want the position and a lot of us want the respect without putting the works in to earn the respect by the Most High. If you put the work in and change, the Most High will defend your words. You don't gotta yell and scream and be a nigga talking to the person that's under you. If you're in the spirit of Christ and you deliver the message and they don't listen, guess who stings them? So why you gotta sit back here and do all the yelling and screaming and beating your chest? Because it's about you. It's about you. And that's why the Spirit ain't with you in the first place, because it's about you. And it's not about the purity of the message. And that's the problem with Israel, getting rank and responsibility. It's all about the flex, like Dawiyah was saying. It's about the flex. I'm the big man. I deserve respect. You get respect when you stop beating your chest to ask for it. When you just go to work and do your job and deliver a clear, potent message and eliminate your ego out the equation, then maybe people are listening to you. When you stop giving a shit about being respected, then you'll get respect. Why do you gotta have respect so much? Why is respect such an important thing in your psyche? What's in it with you that you gotta have people approving you and respecting you? Why? That's a you thing. That's not the student's problem. Doesn't the Bible say he that despiseth not man but the most high? So the woman or the brother is despising you, why are you angry? Because you're shallow. And your ego is small. And you gotta feel like you're the man. Because you know why? Because serving the Lord isn't enough for you.
You go.
Serving the Lord ain't enough. You gotta get some respect and some appreciation. You gotta have somebody on your jack all damn day long telling you the man.
Patting backs.
Because you're really hollow inside and you're shallow. Because if it's about the Lord, you'll understand that this person's disrespect. They're running from the Lord. If you're looking at things pure, the problem with leaders and counselors, we make it so much about how a person treats me. And that's how you know you're a bad counselor. And the Spirit of the Lord ain't with you when you're counseling. Everything's about how a person makes me feel. Okay. Read that verse again.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 10. For his letters, say they, are weighty and powerful.
Paul is saying his letters, his message, his teaching. He might not be the most educated guy in the world, but the message is weighty and it's powerful. But it's weighty and powerful because it's pure of intention. It's pure of heart. That's why it's weighty and it's powerful. Because it's pure of intention and it's spoken from a position of a person that's actually fought that battle. What kills me, why do people sit back here and be checking people with adamacy and fire and fervency, and you ain't fixed the thing you're checking people about? And you get angry and they don't listen. I don't understand that. What is it, checking people on diets, and they have dog shit diets? What are you doing? People are checking people to be in shape and you ain't in shape. What are you doing? What kind of crazy stuff is this? You gotta lock it. You gotta be in order with me. But you're the most out of order dude in the truck every day. What is this going on? But we think we're clarified in the spirit to roll like this? Continue.
For his letters, say they, are weighty and powerful, but his bodily presence is weak.
Listen, Paul had a weak bodily presence, just like Christ didn't have a beautiful presence to him. That was what Isaiah 53 said, right? So, it's not about the appearance. It's not about the educational level. It's about your capability to touch your people with the purest message you could possibly bring to the table. That's what this is about. And can your message really touch and resonate with the people that you're responsible for? Can you really inspire them? Can you really help them? Can you really develop them? Read on.
But his bodily presence is weak and his speech contemptible.
Paul's speech was looked upon as contemptible, hateful, uneducated. A lot of us sit back here and don't think we can counsel because of our education level. It's not about that. What we have to focus on is the purity of our message. We're going to go into that correlation between speech and wisdom that kind of helps to give us an understanding about how to properly teach. But now, Paul said people said Paul's message was weighty and powerful. What made Paul's message powerful? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. We're going to start finding out what makes great teachers and great counselors great. So let's go to Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12.
Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12.
Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12.
For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword.
Listen, the word is powerful. The message is potent. This is why it was weighty and powerful, because the word of the Most High is weighty and powerful. Okay, read on.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit.
So he's letting us know that Paul's message was weighty and powerful because he was really locked into teaching the word of the Most High. Hold on, stay back because you're in the camera. There's one right there in front of you. Okay. You need another one?
Yeah.
Here. Oh, you're good. Okay, cool. Just leave it up there. Slide. Read verse 12 again.
Hebrews 4 and 12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword.
So once again, the word of the Most High is powerful, and Paul's message was powerful because he was speaking the word of the Heavenly Father. But it's not just the fact that he was speaking the word of the Most High. there's more to it when it comes to the word of the Most High. Read on.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and
It
spirit.
says when you're teaching the word the right way, it cuts to the root of a person. You don't have to yell and scream. You don't have to have ego involved. You don't have to be out of pocket and emotional for the message to cut, for the message to hit your soul. This is why you can teach out of love and the message hits even harder. Then we get all emotional and flamboyant. That's us trying to inject ourselves in it. Because we think a person ain't going to listen if you don't inject your opinion and your attitude behind it. It's still ego-based. Everything about how we operate when it's out the spirit is ego-based. I got to yell and raise my voice and be out of pocket because now I'm putting this special sauce on the message. Versus is letting the word hit where it's going to hit. Let the word get on your mind and work in your mind. But this is also, as we read, why Paul's message was so weighty and powerful. Read on.
It says, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow.
Now I missed the part earlier when it says the word of the Most High is quick and powerful, and read on, and sharper.
Come, for the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword.
What does that mean? The word is sharper than any two-edged sword. You know what Paul understood? That for whatever I'm dishing out to somebody, I got to be prepared for it to cut me. And not just to cut me, I have to be prepared to deal and fix
The response.
where I'm bleeding at. And the more you work on what's inside of you, as you're checking another person about their conduct, your word becomes more powerful and potent by the day. Because if you don't sit back here and fix your cut, then you're just talking trash. Now you're a what? A hypocrite. Now you're a play actor. Because that's what a hypocrite is. A hypocrite can tell you everything you got to do and never fix what's inside of them. You're just playing a game and playing a part and playing a role. What made Paul's message so weighty is that as he's cutting you, either he's going to fix what he got to fix or he's already fixed it. People don't understand what it takes to motivate somebody and to correct somebody. There's a reason that 2 Corinthians 10 and 6 says, having a readiness to revenge all disobedience once your obedience is fulfilled. We want to check and chastise and correct and say, I got you and I caught you in a lie. Why are you so good at picking up on lies? Why are you so good on catching a lie? Because you're a liar. That's my point. And how we think in our, like I said, it's not about educational status. It's in our lack of spiritual maturity status. Our ignorance on that level, we just want to cut and check. And not realize as I'm cutting and checking this person about their conduct, do you even have enough conscience of mind to think about how you do the same thing that you're checking somebody that they're doing? Is that even go in your mind? How hypocritical you are? And how one way you are when you counsel and when you teach? But you expect the Most High to honor that exchange? You got to fix that, but I ain't got to fix that. My situation is so much deeper. I'm going through things that ain't normal. I'm going through, listen, my lack of obedience is a special case of a lack of obedience. Disobedience. Wow. What I'm going through justifies my disobedience. You're just disobedient. Is that not how we operate?
Yeah.
We will tell ourselves what we're going through is a justified reason to be out of order. But you ain't got a reason to be out of order. I do the things for you that another person doesn't do for me. So you're justified to be in order, and I'm justified not to be in order. There's the hypocrisy. And that's how you know you're not in the spirit of Christ. Because Paul understood that the word cuts two ways when you develop. And if I'm going to cut, and if you're going to sit back here and be bold enough to start chastising and correcting about what a person ain't doing, you better be damn well prepared to either fix the hypocrisy in you or fix the thing that you're weak in. So you'll be reminded how hard it is to change. You know why we get so upset about people? Because what we check people on a lot of times, either we're hypocrites or we've done that. And now we look down on people.
A long time ago.
We've done the thing we check a person on and expect them to fix it. But we don't take the time to say, okay, well, what are the things I'm weak in like this person's weak in?
Currently.
What am I currently weak in that I haven't overcome? And then when you start saying that how weak you are in the arena that you keep getting stung on, then maybe you'll have a little bit more patience for another person when they got to change something. Now maybe your message starts, the correction is still there, but it's in a better place. It's out of a better spirit. The problem isn't the correction. The problem is the spirit you're in when you correct. And the hate that fuels your correction. Versus understanding. If I can understand how weak I get, maybe I can still correct you. This message is not designed to get Israel to stop correcting. You still got to correct. But maybe I'll be more understanding when I correct. And I'll have more mercy when I correct. And now I'm closer to being and correcting in the spirit of Christ than it being in my negative, hateful spirit when I correct people. So, read verse 12 again from the top.
Hebrews 4:12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and to the joints and marrow, and is a discerner.
So he says, the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. Understand that this message, every time you counsel, every time you speak, do you realize the Most High is trying to see if you are living the way you're telling somebody to live? Do we think that way? If we're going to sit back here and inject ourselves as these teachers and counselors, don't you realize the spotlight is on you? The spotlight is on you to chapter 17. Chapter 17. Verse 1 through 6. Verse 1 through 6.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 17 and verse 1 reads. Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 17 and verse 1 reads. The Lord created man of the earth and turned him into it again. We're going
to go to verse 8. We're going to go to verse 8.
He gave them few days in a short time, and power few days in a short time, and power also over the things therein.
So the Most High gave us earth, read on, and he didn't give us a very long time to live on it. Read on.
He endued them with strength by themselves, and made them according to his image. He made themselves and made them according to his image.
He made us according to his, and gave us the strength to fight ourselves. He gave us the strength to work on what's inside of us. But he's going to explain the tools. Work on what's inside of us. But he's going to explain the tools he gave us in order to fight the things in ourselves. Read on. Us in order to fight the things in ourselves. Read on.
And put the fear of man upon all flesh.
So he did us a solid and all the animals.
Put the fear of man upon all flesh.
So he did us a solid and all the animals in creation have a natural fear towards us. Read on.
And gave him dominion over beasts and fowls. They received the use of the over beasts and fowls. They received the use of the five operations of the Lord.
Most High gave us those five senses.
Of the Lord.
Most High gave us those five senses on earth. On earth, he blessed us with five senses to operate and flourish on earth. He blessed us with five senses to operate and flourish on earth. Read on.
And in the sixth place, he imparted them understanding.
He also gave us understanding on top of our senses. Read on.
And in the seventh, speech.
And the seventh thing he gave us was the ability to communicate. Okay, read on.
An interpreter of the
Cogitations. Cogitations.
Cogitations.
Not cond, it's cogitations, like thoughts.
Cogitations thereof.
So he gave us the ability to speak and relay our thoughts. Okay? Okay, but what is, in a nutshell, what is the ability to speak and relay our thoughts called? Read on.
Counsel.
That's what it is. He gave us the ability to counsel. And he says counsel on top of the five senses and understanding and speech, which is the seventh, is what he gave us to survive, function, and flourish on earth. Read on.
Counsel and a tongue, and eyes, ears, and a heart gave he them to understand.
He gave us all these tools. He didn't give us all the answers, but he gave us enough tools to get us to be strong and have dominion on this earth. Read on.
Verse 7. Withal he filled them with the knowledge of understanding, and shewed them good and evil. He set his eyes upon their hearts.
And this is the thing. After he sat back here and gave us all of these tools, knowledge, information, our senses, our ability to speak, our ability to comprehend, then he starts to look at our what? Our heart. I gave you all these tools. Now I'm going to judge you by your intentions with all the things I've given you.
How you use the tools I gave you.
Con. This is how we're being judged now. We don't look at that. We're given additional, listen, we're given additional power, additional leverage with this Bible. This Bible is a tool that if you have it in the right hands, can bring out the best of your people. But if you put it in the wrong hands, you could corrupt people and you can destroy people. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
So he, with all the tools he's given you, with the rank he's given you, with the position he's given you, with the blessing he's given you, now he's looking at your what? Your heart, your intention. And this is how you have to think when you're given rank. When you have to run your house. Why do you think the Most High don't give men ribs that quick? Huh?
You'll ruin it.
Because you'll ruin them. I ain't got no woman. I ain't got no woman. That's what we walking around thinking. I ain't got no woman. This ain't fair. But the Most High, what are you going to teach them if you got them? How you going to develop them? I ain't thought about that. I ain't seen a woman. Like, damn. Damn. That's all you give a damn about? A lot of Israel do. Everybody saying, man, listen, who's thinking like them? I gotta work on these things in me so when I do get a rib, I'll know how to develop them. Who thinks that way? Ain't nobody thinking if you ain't had one. When's the Most High gonna give me a rib? I'm saying it that way because that's how you think. Where? Give me. I want two. How about that? We want more and more and more. And don't know how to develop one. And think the Most High is going to bless that. What are we thinking? It's a taking spirit. We want and want and want, but don't realize I got to fix things in me. And the more things I fix in me, the better I'll be in a position to develop and be responsible for another spirit. This is what this is about. And he's looking at when we get this knowledge and this information and the word, he's looking at our potential, our attention and our motivations and how we use this word. Why is this important to understand? Somebody has to sit back and govern our motivations. There's another reason why the Most High doesn't just bless us quickly. Because he can't trust us with responsibility. This is why when you read in Ecclesiastes 4, he says wisdom takes a man through crooked paths. Because before wisdom can actually work with you, and the Spirit of Christ can actually move through you, you have to be inconvenienced and accept the inconvenience before you're rewarded with blessings. That's the answer to why we always want to exploit the help and drain the help and take everything we can from the help. Versus looking at the help as a responsibility to develop. We don't look at ribs that way. A lot of Israelites don't look at ribs as help. No, let me take it back. We look at ribs as help and not a responsibility to develop. We look at ribs as a person I can extract things from, but we don't focus on the developmental side of that part of the deal.
It's not important.
That's not important. I just need my bills paid. I need my help. So let me extract what I got to extract. And I'm not worried about developing. But that's why you get rewarded with the help. And the Most High is looking at you, and he's looking at you and saying, where's this guy's motivation with the help he's got? Is he more focused extracting and taking or developing? And what is it? And why is he putting this person through something? To extract and get, and to come up, or to develop? Because the Most High puts us through things to develop us. Do we develop the people we're responsible for with the same motivation and reason? Hell no. We put people through things because we want things. I need a new car. I need you to work 2 or 3 jobs. Because I need some money. Where is the development there? We don't do things to develop. We do things to take. And the Most High sees our heart when we're supposed to counsel. This is the scary thing. Counsel was one of the things the Lord gave us to sustain us. This is one of the major things he blessed us with to survive as a people. Our senses, understanding, speech, and counsel. You need those things to get through life. But if you're a bad counselor, well, then what are you doing to that person you're responsible for? You're taking away from that person one of the things they need to survive and flourish on earth. That is why we're called oppressors. The Most High develops us so we can be good counselors to give people what they need to get through life. But we're crappy counselors. So our negativity and our hatred and our ups and downs with our emotions actually gets in the way of another human's desire or need to flourish on earth, to function on earth. Is what I'm saying making sense? Or am I just talking some damn gibberish?
Makes sense.
Why am I saying it this way? Because if we don't take it that serious, we will easily be oppressors. Yes. All right.
2 Ezra 9 and 9. 2 Ezra 9 and 9.
Hold on.
This is the outcome of those insincere or one-dimensional counselors. It says what it says, bro. Read it.
2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 9. Then shall they be in pitiful case.
Then shall they be in a pitiful case. It's going to tell you the pitiful case, or give you at least a little insinuation of what the case is going to be. Read.
Which now have abused my ways.
Why will they be in a pitiful case? The pitiful case is the judgment for what? Abusing the Most High's ways. I had the leverage of the scriptures. I abused that. I had gifts the Most High gave me. I abused that. I had a position that the Father gave me. The Father gave me a position. I abused that. I was looked on as this counselor, husband, brother, mother.
Yeah. Leader.
Shepherd. I abused them. Read.
It says, and they that have cast them away.
Stop right there. Which have abused my what?
Okay. Now have abused my ways.
So the pitiful case is the judgment for the abusers of the scriptures, or the way, or teaching, or counseling, or directing. Read.
It says, and they that have cast them away despitefully.
They cast away despitefully. It means a couple things. You cast away people's spirits. You don't really care about their spirit. You don't be caring about people you counsel with, because I don't give a damn.
As long as I get what I need.
Listen, if I can't get what I want, then I cast you away despitefully, because you're of no use to me. You're of no use. I don't care. You know a person, how they deal with people based upon how you deal with people that can't give you anything.
Yep.
That's how you know the true person.
Yep.
You can't benefit me. How do I deal with you? Not everybody's cool. The guy that can benefit them. Oh,
Yep.
hey, how you doing, man? What's going
Brother.
on? This boy got a bank account. What's good with you, huh?
Yep.
Oh, you got a hookup. Shalom, man.
Yep.
How do you deal with a person that can give you nothing?
Yep.
That shows who you are.
That's right.
So it says, and they that have cast them away, what?
Despitefully.
You don't value the sheep the Most High has given. Read.
Shall dwell in torment.
So because you can cast away sheep, then the Most High, when it's time for you to go somewhere, He's going to cast you away like you cast away the sheep.
Yeah.
How you abuse the sheep, He will abuse you. How you cast away the sheep, He will cast away you. How they weren't important, that's the judgment. Because remember, you said earlier, you said that He's judging your words.
Yep.
And you're going to be weighed by the same words.
Because He gave us, our words is what the Most High gave our people to give them hope.
So
to complete them, to give them what they need. Counsel is what came from the Lord. So whatever He gave us the ability to counsel people. And that is a major aspect of what's needed to nourish our nation.
Yeah.
And we can't take that lightly. But you go on what you're saying.
So the same way He measures your words and gives you a recompense for your words, is He also measures how you deal with the people around you and gives you an outcome based off how you dealt with your sheep. That was it.
God, listen, read verse 6 and verse 8 in Ecclesiastes 17.
God.
6 and 8.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 17 and verse 6. Counsel and a tongue and eyes, ears, a heart, and a heart. Gave He them to understand.
Most High gave us counsel, gave us the spirit of counsel, gave us people who have the capability to counsel. Why are you getting the knowledge? Why are we getting taught? We can help counsel and heal our people. This job and this position is important because He's looking at how we carry ourselves. Because our job, we have to teach and rebuild our nation. And we rebuild our nation through counsel, through teaching, through redeveloping. We can't take our speech lightly, nor the spirit that we operate in with our speech. Read on.
Verse 7.
Verse 8, I said 6 and 8.
Okay. Verse 8. He set His eyes upon their hearts.
And He says, now He sets His eyes on our intentions. With this counsel, with this power, this newly formed power that we got, now He's looking at our hearts now. Where is our intent behind choosing a mate? What's our intent behind choosing a wife? You need to get your crawl? You burning? Those are your reasons behind picking a wife? What you need? Or are you here to develop? Or are you here to develop that person? Do you actually give a damn about that person? Most of the time, when things are messed up, people, the reason marriages are messed up is you don't give a damn in the first place. You just chose them because you could. How about that? And we expect the Spirit to honor that? You think Most High sees your intention and is backing that? Who do we think we're fooling? Because the law said I can have it, right? You see that game? The law said I can have one woman, so I can just pick women that I really don't give a shit about, but I need them. So the Most High sits back and gives us these laws, gives us these parameters, and looks at our intentions behind the moves we make. And either blesses us or destroys us because of those moves. Okay.
He set his eyes upon their hearts, that he might shew them the greatness of his work.
The intention was if we did our job, everybody would see how great this system works. If the mature people taught the ones who didn't know any better and were sincere in their message, this system could roll. If people in a position of power didn't exploit power, then serving the Most High could be way easy. The system behind developing a nation could be way better. Every time the nation fell, it started with what? Selfish, negative, one-sided leaders. And all the policies they set up for them to gain and for everybody else to suffer. Whenever there were righteous kings who looked after the people, the nation thrived. And this is what he's saying. When he looks at the heart of our people, the household will thrive. If it's starting with the husband, if his intentions were right in the first place, with the people he chose to commit himself to. It starts with that. And based on how that operates, everything starts to fall apart or build up. So why am I going through all this? Are we going to take the responsibility of counseling, teaching, and leading serious? Or are we just going to use it as an opportunity to gain an advantage of another person? This is why this is why we're going over the class, the importance of counseling in the right spirit. Because the Most High is looking at the motivation behind why you lead, why you counsel, why you invest into people. If you want to be on the Most High side, your motivation can't be about what you're going to get out the deal. It's got to be about you being just as accountable as you're demanding somebody else to be accountable for their actions. And that's where Hebrews 4:12 goes back into. And this is why Paul's message was so powerful. Because he understood that the word goes both ways. It cuts and it develops. It cuts and it develops. So can I take the cut while developing other people? Can I take the check and fix what's inside of me while I'm demanding somebody else to change? This is not about getting people not to fix what's inside of them. This is not about being afraid to correct people. But it's the spirit behind how you correct people. It's what pisses the Most High off.
It's just as important as the correction.
It's more important.
Well, it's more important. But I'm saying correction, yes, that matters. But what also matters is being genuine.
It's genuine. That was what we read in 2 Corinthians 11:6. We were genuine. We were proven to be genuine. And now we're here in Hebrews 4:12. Whoever got that, let's go there again. Hebrews 4:12.
Hebrews 4:12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword.
Exactly. There's an understanding that the word cuts both ways. Read on.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit.
Mm-hmm. So he says he understands how this word cuts into the soul of a person. And if I understand that, and I understand how this message will cut me, that doesn't mean I'm not going to cut you. I just got to be conscious of the fact that I know how, if I'm sincere, and I know how this word rips into me,
yes.
if I know how hard the word rips into me, I will be conscious of how I correct somebody else. And how harshly I correct somebody else. If I have a conscience myself, and I know how the word condemns me when I feel bad about a check, then I will be more conscious about how harshly I lean on somebody else. Read on.
It says, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and
Y'all
spirit.
wait till 9:45. There's no need to leave a little bit later. Read on.
It says, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
So once again, the word really reveals where a person's head at. And all I'm saying is Paul understood this message was just as much about cutting and correcting the individual as it was about making sure they were on the right, on the up and up with their message also. Let those verses go, and let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 22 and 23. And this verse gives you an understanding of what being in the spirit of wisdom is in your speech, in the midst of your speech, in the midst of your counsels, in the midst of your corrections, in the midst of your dealing with people. What spirit do you need to be in for your message to resonate and touch people the right way?
The Most High judges the judge.
But remember, we've been reading all throughout Ecclesiastes about how speech and wisdom go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Now we have to understand what spirit of wisdom must you be in if your speech is going to be proper and accepted and respected like that artificer's work. Okay? Let's do that.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 22. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me. For in her...
So he says, wisdom taught me. Wisdom is the spirit. And once it sits back here and takes you through crooked paths, like we read in Ecclesiastes 4, all of a sudden you have a clearer understanding of things. Okay? So wisdom teaches you what?
For in her is an understanding spirit.
So, well, listen. If the spirit of wisdom is in me, if the spirit of Christ is in me, I have an understanding spirit. What does that mean? Before I start unloading and correcting and judging how negative a person is, before I start to do that, I'll take the time to understand why a person thinks the way they think. You know how many times we yell and we sting and we drop people and we do all kind of extreme things, not really understanding why and what the nature of the sickness is, without taking the time. And even after you drop them, cool. But after that, you're going to sit back and find out why the sickness is the way it is? Why people operate the way it is? Do we have enough empathy? Why don't we take the time to understand? Why don't we take the time to understand and figure out the why? Because it's too inconvenient. What you going to say?
I was just going to say, because we haven't experienced
Yeah, what?
situation.
Yeah, it's different. It's different to us, and we don't want to waste our time. And because we're in council, everybody, the Sundays we have everybody in council, have everybody's like this. We get out of here. This brother's taking my off day. This BS council is taking my off.
But
day.
you're not learning the spirit of counsel.
And you're not learning. You're not understanding the person you're working with. You're not understanding them. And that's how you know you're not in the spirit of wisdom. Because if I'm in the spirit of wisdom, I will have enough love in my heart to understand, to figure it out.
Yeah.
Why is this person continue to not listen? Instead of me just snapping and being pissed that I done told somebody 10, 15 times they ain't changed, because that's what we do. We get mad because you gave spirit and they didn't listen to you. Right or wrong? Because though you didn't lock into me, now I'm angry, now I'm snapping at you. Now I'm yelling, now I'm raising my voice. But how many times do you not listen to the Lord? More than that. That's how you know you're out the spirit when you're dealing with counsel. When you're angry. When you're snapping. When you're literally vexed. You should know right there I'm not in the spirit of counsel. Why continue in counsel when you're pissed? Well, we're pissed, and we'll sit back here and push our frustration on the person who keeps making a mistake. And we expect that person to listen. When what you see, the rebellion is correct, but your anger behind the rebellion is completely incorrect. which means the counselor is out of the spirit. And when the counselor is out of the spirit, now you're not doing your job. Because if you're going to do your job right, you have to operate in the spirit of understanding, which means detaching emotion. Detaching emotion from the situation. Just being honest. I'm not saying not correct. I'm not saying don't tell somebody they're wrong. But if I'm angry and pissed off, that ain't the time to correct. Continue.
God, for in her is an understanding spirit, holy, one only.
He said holy and one only. There is it is, you know, when it says one only means one means undivided. Meaning I'm focused. Meaning the person that I'm dealing with has my undivided attention.
Right.
Well, you can say that single-minded, single intention. That's an important aspect of counseling.
Complete concentration, bro.
Complete concentration. How can you properly deal with an issue if your mind is going different directions? If your intentions are somewhere else, your heart is somewhere else. I mean, listen, hey, I understand. Just wait, bro. I don't know why you keep passing that out. Just be cool, okay? So one only deals with focus, deals with intention, deals with purpose. This is how you know you're in the spirit to counsel. If you're distracted and your mind's everywhere, why are you counseling? Let's continue.
God, one only, manifold.
Manifold.
So,
Hold. Let's get manifold.
manifold, come.
Yeah.
Manifold.
Let's do the second definition.
Exhibited.
Yes.
Con. Exhibited or appearing at diverse times or in various ways.
So it's not necessarily wrong in changing up approaches. To be manifold is your approach to people. Listen, the funny thing is this. The spirit is manifold because that's what it takes to get people to see things.
Yeah.
Have you ever counseled somebody and the one approach that you like going to don't work? There's a reason the scripture talks about the foolishness of teaching. You have to go so many different directions to get somebody to see a message. But you know what that takes? Love, patience, not even experience. It takes, you got to give a damn about a person. You know what we have to do? We keep sitting back here and telling people one way how to do something. Then we get angry that they don't see it that way. Do we take the time to realize everybody learns different? People process different. People see things in different ways. Maybe come out of your normal way of doing things and try on different approaches to get people to be inspired. Change your approach. Change your message. Change the verses. Listen, you ever notice the Bible says the same thing in different ways all throughout the book? It's saying the same thing, but different ways from different communicators, different teachers, but they're driving the same points. It's like the Most High understands that Jeremiah might stick to you different than Isaiah. Ezekiel might hit you different than Jeremiah. And he's giving you different prophets and how they communicate in hopes that you can see it. He's telling us the same thing with how we roll. We're manifold in our approach to get the message out to you. Read on.
Subtle.
Now, subtle, let's sit back here and do that one. Subtle also. This is a good one. It is the, let me see. Two, the second definition. The reason I'm picking and choosing because subtle can be derived from a negative position or a positive. You can be subtle and be negative or subtle and good. And obviously the spirit of wisdom is not subtle negative. So give me the second definition.
subtle, subtle. Number 2, nice, fine, delicate.
There is a skill and a delicate way sometimes. All delicate means is you got to think about it a little bit. Gentle. Just because you might feel like telling somebody something, that's not the way the spirit of wisdom operates. Can I be gentle and delicate about delivering a message? Do I trust that the message alone is going to correct? Do I got to be a brute? Do I got to be a beast in my communication? If you're in the spirit of wisdom, you'll take enough time to put a bunch of factors into consideration. You'll understand the person, what they're going through, what their circumstances is, what do they need? What's the best way to get this message to stick? If you're in the spirit of wisdom, the spirit of Christ, you'll sit back here and take your time to formulate a skillful approach to getting somebody to see something. If you're in the right spirit, if you're in a selfish spirit, you just overreact and snap and yell and raise your voice and are disrespectful and out the spirit. But because I'm demanding you and you're supposed to be in order, you just got to sit here and take it. Take this tongue lashing. Take this loud voice. Take this out of the spirit way of doing things. Because I'm your head. I'm your elder. I'm your mother. I'm your father. I'm the elder sister. I'm the elder brother. You don't see us do that. And scriptures are telling you that's not how you're supposed to deal with anybody that you're responsible for. Once, does that mean you don't correct them? Yeah, you got to correct them. But the adjustments first come from you. The adjustments in how you deliver the message comes from you. And if you make the adjustments to fix you, then you have a better chance of a person listening and absorbing what you're trying to convey to them. Read on.
Lively.
Lively. Listen, it's spirited. It's upbeat. When you're counseling, you're not supposed to be sitting back here just fighting to get through. There has to be enthusiasm, spirit, and the desire to sit back here and get to see you get from here to here. Are you enthusiastic about your development? Are you enthusiastic about counseling a person the 50th time? Didn't Christ say, forgive thy brother what?
7 times 7.
So every single time you do it, is your enthusiasm there? Or are you emotional? Are you angry? Are you vexed with having to do the same thing over and over again? This is how the Lord is showing us how to correct, how to counsel, how to develop. A person will know how much wisdom you have based on your speech. And these are the tenets of what it takes to have wisdom. If these things aren't in you, in your counsel and speech, you don't have wisdom like you think you got. Let's continue.
Clear.
Clear. Listen, the message, the funny thing is this. The message that you're dropping is way more clearer if a few things are being done the right way. If your intentions are pure, your message is going to be clear. If you remove your emotion, your message will be clear. If you think before you speak and you understand what's going on with the person that you're trying to counsel, guess what happens? The message is clear. But too many times we counsel and we just say things. You ever like been in a counsel and a brother said something about you and it was completely wrong? I bet you were doing this, huh? No, I wasn't. Yeah, you were. Okay. Yeah, I guess you were. We sit back here and we jump to conclusions all the time. We jump to conclusions because we don't take the time to understand and study the person that we have to be responsible for counseling. If I really understand why a person does what they do, why a person does what they do, then my message will be exactly on point. But we just overreact, we get emotional, and we say hurtful things and call it counsel. But that's still out of the spirit of wisdom, out of the spirit of Christ. Clarity comes from detaching from emotions. Clarity comes from removing what's inside of you, what you feel, removing you out the equation, and just giving people what they need and sticking to the point. Being objective with the point, with the best intention, with a clear, focused intention on what a person's going through. Does that make sense? This is why a lot of times at home, it's hard to counsel your significant other at home because too much emotion is mixed in with the lesson. It's hard to teach and just drop a lesson because you're angry, you're emotional, you're frustrated, and you can't think clear. But if you're in the spirit of Christ, the spirit of wisdom, you'll think clear because you'll remove yourself out the equation. So the spirit can work through you. Read on.
Undefiled.
But once again, you can't speak a clear message if you're defiled with lust, hate, anger, disgust, a lack of respect, a lack of humility, and a lack of seeing that you're flawed too. Before you go on any counsel, you got to remind yourself that you got things you ain't fixed either. Once you can remove all of these biases in you, then your message can be pure and people can realize, oh, this guy's got wisdom. That message was right on point. It cut, but it was out of love. It cut, but it was pure intention behind it. He wasn't angry at me. He just knew he hit me because I had to get hit. I didn't like it, but I needed it. But other people will sit back here and do counsel, and you know there's anger and hatred behind it. And then when we sit back and bring the two people in counsel, like, what's happening? All I said was this, and this. But the person who's getting checked knows damn well there was hatred mixed in with correction. Hatred mixed in with the message. People aren't stupid. People aren't stupid. People know when you hate them. Bro, I quoted her Bible verses. But you can't stand their guts while you're quoting Bible verses. You think people are that stupid? Or they can't pick up on that? It's the word of God mixed, sprinkled with a little bit of hate. Sprinkled with a little bit of disgust. That's how we roll. Am I right or wrong? And we think we're still doing our job for the Most High and we're operating in His Spirit. You can't counsel properly unless you remove all that filth out of you. And if we are working on maintaining that type of thinking, we will slow down on how we talk. We will choose our words properly. And if from this class, if we just learn how to choose our words properly, think before we speak, think before we react, maybe you can sit back and save a person's soul. You can keep a person fighting. Because we are excellent as a people at destroying one another. But we've never practiced or haven't practiced long enough on how to restore people. Can I choose the right word for a person to know that you love them still, even while you're correcting them? You love them even though I'm telling them something they don't want to hear. It's love there. Continue.
Plain.
And when it's plain, there's no ulterior motives behind the message. There's no slick words. There's no words that can have double meanings.
No sarcasm.
Did you say what you... sarcasm, too. Sarcasm, plain words, plain meaning. No backdoor objectives. Can you be who you say what you mean and mean what you say? Can you just stick to that and be a man or woman of your word and honor? This is how you know these attributes let you know if your speech and counsel is in the spirit of wisdom. And the Most High will accept it. Because once again, the Most High knows your intention behind your message. So as we're explaining this, your intention has to be tied in to these points. As you're counseling, if your intention isn't tied into verse 22 and 23, you know the spirit of wisdom ain't with you. which means the Spirit and Christ ain't with you in the midst of your counsel. So at least we have a mental objective and a mental something that we can go back to. When we're sitting back here before, actually you should do it before you counsel. Before you counsel, you're going to go back and read and make sure that you're in this mindset before you proceed forward in a counsel. Especially for young counselors, you have to do that. You have to make sure you're in the right spirit before you project your message. And if you can do that, now you're on the road to being a powerful, impactful leader. But if you don't learn this, you're just dropping Bible verses and it will lack impact. It will lack love. It won't be weighty and powerful like Paul's was. Because Paul's message had all of these ingredients in it. And that's why he's Paul and we're trying to figure it out. Let's continue with Wisdom of Solomon 7.
God, not subject to hurt.
You know what the problem is? Listen, the funny thing is, we're bad counselors because we get our feelings hurt too many times. In the midst of counsel. If you're in the Spirit of Christ, why are you getting your feelings hurt when you're counseling somebody and their sickness comes out? Why are you getting offended? Have you ever seen a doctor? You go to a doctor's office and you show them your sickness and say, you gotta get out of here. You gotta get the hell out of here. I don't want no part of that. You gotta get out of here. That looks gross. Get the hell out of here. Scram. Nurse! Security! Get your ass out of here. You better go to university hospital. Get your ass to university. I ain't dealing with that crap.
That's a crazy guy.
Well, listen, this is how we act when that sickness comes out. We get inflamed, angry, pissed off, reactionary. I'm going to get vexed because you vexed. We're supposed to be the people with the medicine. When you're getting all emotional and out of shape and bent out of shape, that's how you know you're out the what? You're out the spirit. And you're out the spirit as a counselor. Why are you getting emotional? Because he's being a nigga. It's using the real words. Because when the people are being negative, why are you sitting back here? What's the word again? Subject to hurt.
Subject to hurt.
Listen, why are you subject to being offended by other people's actions? Because you're not a good counselor? You're not a good leader? How dare she talk to me like that? You think I'm a chump? That's disrespectful. I'm trying to get LA time. Oh, it's wrong. It was off. I was not in Cali long enough to talk like that. The point is this. We sit back here and get offended on how people talk to us. And all of a sudden we lose it. Then we can't counsel no more. Then we can't teach. Then we're an arguing couple again. We're a bickering couple. And then all of a sudden, now the Spirit of Christ has left the building. Happens with brothers all the time too. You try to give correction, one person is negative, then the other person acts just as negative as the first negative person. Then there's just disrespect all across the board. And then
it says, a meek spirited man is a healer of the heart, but a sensitive heart is a corruption of the bones. When a person's oversensitive, corruption of the bones means your bones are likely to get broken. Corruption of the bones, your bones are about to break. People that are oversensitive are easily broken. So you have to learn meekness. So when you counsel people, I can handle the personal attacks or the negative perspectives towards the counselor if you practice meekness, which means what? To endure injury without what? Without resentment. When a person's communicating, I don't allow this person's resentments to affect me. That's like Moses. When Moses hit the rock, why did he do it? At that moment, he lost his meekness.
Mm-hmm.
So through him losing his meekness, the
Spirit left him.
The Spirit left him.
And that's why he didn't get to the kingdom. Because he was moved.
He lost his meekness. He got moved.
He was moved.
But that is from
he was subject to hurt.
He was subject to hurt.
Yeah, and
so
when you're subject to hurt, you lose your meekness. You're no longer meek.
Yeah.
You're no longer meek when you're subject to hurt. Because a meek person endures injury and he doesn't take it personally. If you're subject to hurt, you're enduring injury and now you're pissed off that you got injured. There's a difference. So when you're getting injured, and this is the job, part of the job is to sit back here and be injured by the sick. When you're around sick people, what's going to happen to you? You're going to get spit up on, throw up on, pooped on. You'll get a little poop in your hand, right? Dealing with somebody who's sick. In the midst of being people throwing up and vomiting on you, you can't be reactionary to the vomit and the sickness. You have to deal with that and not be changed or subject to your feelings being hurt or your pride being attacked or your emotions being attacked.
One point,
yeah, you good?
In verse 31, I'm going to read it. He that oppresses the needy provokes his maker, but he that honors him has pity upon the poor.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm honoring the Most High, I'm trying to be in the Spirit of Christ, I'm dealing with the Spirit, and my pity for what this person lacks will almost be a shield when a person's giving you personal attacks. If you really feel bad for their sickness. But if I'm caught up in my sensitivities, then now I have to fight fire for fire, or I have to rail for rail. But the goal is not to oppress the needy. Because once a person's offended, and I'm in a position of power, what's the next stage? I can oppress you then. You've justified me extracting more and taking more and breaking. Because you've offended the king. That's in the scripture too.
Con. So once again, he says not subject to hurt.
Yeah.
How can you counsel when you're subject to getting emotional and reacting the wrong way? And if you're subject to being emotional and reacting the wrong way, then how are you in the spirit of wisdom? How are you in the spirit of counsel? How are you able to heal your people? You can't. And if you can't heal your people, then what use are you? And if you just want to be a worker, that's cool. But he wants us to do more than that. We got to be able to teach and counsel too. We're not here just to work. We're here to work and to develop.
Yeah.
But to develop and to counsel, you got to fix you. People think that you get to that leadership position, now I can start checking people. It ain't that easy. You can't check people and correct people until you're ready to fix what's inside of you through this entire process. So not subject to hurt. Read on.
Loving the thing that is good.
And if the Spirit's going to work through you, you got to love changing the things in you. You have to love the thing that's good in you first. If you have a passion for change, and you know what? Your passion will ooze in everything you do and say. Your passion will shine and exert itself amongst everybody you come across with. And people will know that the correction that you give them is genuine. Because they'll see that you love to change. How many people have you seen get position and you know they ain't fixing themselves, but they can't wait to tell you how you're off? They will check you about how off you are. And you know damn well they ain't reading Bible verse when they get home. You know they ain't studying. What they studying is what you did wrong. I'll study that. I'm going to study where you went off.
I got that.
I got those notes. And I'm going to tell you about all those things you did wrong. I got a whole lot of notes on that. And we're going to study on that. The book of Eli. We're going to read a book about Eli's flaws. I got all those listed down. But you know that's how people are. And you've got to keep your mouth shut and be in order. You got to survive it. Because that's what order is. But then you'll see a person who you know is sincere about working on himself. And when he checks you, you know it's sincere. You might not like it, but you know it's sincere. Am I right or wrong about that? And that's how you know. Where it says by a man's speech, you'll know if they have wisdom. You'll know by a person's message and his life how serious he is about change. So when he's high on changing and he's really up about the spirit of changing, you know it's sincere. And then when you know a person's motivation to change himself is sincere, you can kind of get behind that kind of person. You can kind of ride that energy and work on what's inside of you too. Is that true? Yeah. So this is how you know a person that's in this spirit and a person that's in the right spirit as they're correcting. This is something for everybody to see. The scriptures is right out here for us to grasp. Either we're going to take it or not. So, read on.
Quick.
Meaning quick, lively, alive. Okay, not slow.
Or dead.
Or dead. Okay, read on.
Which cannot be letted.
Let's look up let.
Uh,
And I know let is like held back, but
That's it. What?
yeah, but you got to look up let. There's a bunch of lets, man. What did I find? I found it before, and I don't know what I did with it. I looked at it. I think it's the obsolete one. That's what I was looking for. Was the obsolete let it? Is that the bottom?
no, that's at the very top.
Let me see. Wait, no. Not that one. Not the Saxon one. It's not number 2. I guess it's number 3.
Let 1828, Webster's Dictionary, point number 3. To suffer.
Listen, it says that a person in the right spirit is not going to be in the spirit of suffering. What does that mean? That doesn't mean a person that's in the work doesn't suffer. But a person that's in the spirit of Christ doesn't let that suffering break them. Doesn't let this what you go through every day affect your message. This is still about what? Purity of message. Purity of lesson. Purity of word.
Your problems is not like, because people are out that spirit, they accord this concept. Hey,
Let me say one thing about it. When I think of not let it, if David was let it, do you think his message about the Most High will be as pure as it is? Out of all the things David suffered, everything he spoke about was pure. He even got to the point where he says, man, I almost slipped because I looked at other people growing and making it over me. I was weak because I thought that way. He didn't sit back here and say, man, I was on the road, I was on the run for 10, 15 years. That ain't fair. Why did I have to go through that? Why did I have to suffer that way? What does that mean? If you're in the spirit of Christ, whatever you've gone through doesn't resonate in your message. Whatever you might have suffered, whatever you might have lost, you don't throw that off on people. I've seen people, when they have the opportunity to teach people the benefit of being in a body, the benefit of being in the work, the benefit of teaching, the benefit of committing themselves all in. I've seen brothers sit back here and discourage people from doing it. Discourage people from committing themselves to the work. Because whatever bad experience they might have went through. That's a person that ain't a counselor. That person ain't a leader. Because whatever you're going through, you have to have enough spiritual awareness to see the lesson in it. Because how in the hell are you going to sit back here and teach your woman or your children how to see the spiritual awareness to what they're going through? If you can't look at your life, look at the sufferings you've gone through, and find the lesson there, to find the clarity there that you have to work on, then how are you qualified to teach a rib to do the same thing? To teach your son to do the same thing? If you can't see the good in what you've gone through, what qualifies you to teach somebody else to see the good in what they've gone through? You can't. And this is what it's talking about, which cannot be letted. You're not going to let whatever you suffered get in the way of judgment and teaching and development. That's how you know who is a counselor and who's not a counselor. Whatever they suffered, they didn't have the spiritual capability to process it and spin it in a spiritual way. But isn't that what we do for our people every single day? You can't sit back here and digest the students' problems and digest their suffering and give spiritual diagnosis to them unless you have sat back here and suffered and endured and spin it spiritually so you can get the lesson out of the suffering.
So the good.
If you can't get the lesson and the good out of the suffering, why are you doing it for people for a living? Why are you qualified to teach and counsel? Because that's all counseling is. How can I pull the lesson out of this brother or sister's adversity? But you see how all of these statements tie into how poor of a counselor we are, how poor of a leader we are, how poor of a shepherd we are. And we have all this pride in these ranks and positions. The ranks and positions don't mean nothing if you can't put things in order around you and put yourself in order. Read on.
Ready to do good.
And ready to do good.
That's the goal.
But why is a person ready to do good? Because they see the good in everything they put their hands to already. You can't be ready to do good if you can't see the good in things around you. A lot of us counsel. We counsel sarcastically. We counsel with negative outlooks. How can you sit back here and teach people about this book when all you do is see the bad in your life? Why do you want to lead anything? Why do you want to lead the nation anything when all you do is see the bad and the worst in how your life is? How are you qualified to teach other people to see the good in Christ in their life when you can't see Christ in your life? This doesn't make sense. But this is how backwards we are. We think we can sit back here and give people answers when we haven't even been able to give ourselves answers in the Bible. We refuse to see the good in how the Most High work with us. But I'm going to give another person advice about how the Most High is working with them. What do we think we are, huh? We are really twisted up people. And we're disconnected from the Spirit. But because we got some rank, or we've been in the truth for 5, 10, 15 years, we think we got it. We don't have nothing if you don't understand how to operate in the Spirit. Read on.
Verse 23. Kind to man.
That's easier said than done because a lot of us aren't kind to one another. Like Dawiyah said, we're kind to one another when another person can give us a what? Advantage. We're kind as hell when I can get a benefit from you. We're not that kind when we're not getting anything out the deal. When you can't get what you want, are you kind still? Are you brotherly? Are you sisterly when you can't get what you want out the deal? When this is a one-way thing? When I'm just losing out of this situation? We're not so kind. But if you're in the Spirit of Christ, and if you're in the Spirit of wisdom, you're going to give and be kind regardless if you gain or you lose. That's how you know, once again, this is how you know if you're in the Spirit of wisdom or not. Or if you're capping. Or if you don't want to sit back and engage with somebody because they're just taking and taking and taking. Maybe the Spirit of Christ ain't with you. But maybe wisdom ain't with you right now. Either you're going to fight it and break what's inside of you, or stay away. Continue.
Steadfast.
Mm-hmm. Let's look up steadfast.
That's 1828 Webster Dictionary. It says fast fixed. It says firm, firmly fixed.
It's
or
firmly
established.
fixed. Listen, are you firmly fixed in your position towards the Most High? Are you firmly fixed and immovable in the standard you take for teaching your people? Are you fixed in what the Most High has shown you? Or are you wavering? Are you one guy today and you're another guy tomorrow? Or one person today and another person tomorrow? What are you? Is there any more in the definition? It says constant,
Yeah.
firm, resolute. Read on.
Not fickle or wavering.
Not wavering. Not here up today and I'm up today and I'm
Fixed
down
about it.
tomorrow. I'm so inconsistent. A person that is every other day or is constantly inconsistent emotionally and mentally and focus wise, you're not in the spirit of Christ. You're not in the spirit of wisdom. Because it's hard to follow that type of person. It's hard to lock into a person that's up today and not that's down tomorrow. I want to be talked to today and I don't want to be talked to tomorrow. Don't talk to me today. Talk to me tomorrow. That's out of the spirit. Because you're not consistent. You're not able to establish a pattern of actions that people can easily follow. The Most High is the same yesterday as he is what?
Today and
There's
forever.
no guesswork with him. So he's easier to what?
Understand?
Follow and understand. We're these enigmas wrapped into mazes that are we're so deep. There's so many issues, and you don't know where this person's at. I've seen sisters sit back here. They're afraid to embrace their husband today because he might snap on them. He might embrace him. He might snap back. He might not want to be dealt with. All those ups and downs and fluctuation sows instability in the man, in the leader. Those are just indicators that you're out the spirit. Why are you up and down? And today I'm in a good mood. Today, tomorrow I'm not in a bad mood. That means you're out the spirit. And you got to fix that. Because the Most High don't like that in how you carry yourself. Yeah, does the wife have to adjust? Yes, she has to adjust. But you should be fixing that. Why can't you fix that? That's weakness in you. Read on.
Sure.
Clear. Not wavering in clarity and understanding. You pick a path, you go that path. Based off of lessons, directions, counseling. I see a lot of brothers are constantly changing things up and changing and switching and changing. Those aren't traits of the type of person that can guide multiple men through things. You have to be sure in your path, sure in your direction to get people from point A to Z. And that's how your counsels have to be. Your message has to be the same. A lot of times, if you're wavering in your direction and approach to developing somebody, then they're going to be wavering in their responses to you. Read on.
Free from care.
Free from care. You know what that means? I can't care about how people look at me. I can't care about how I'm perceived. If you're in the spirit, you can't be cared if you're liked. You can't be cared if you're hated.
I want to prove it.
You can't be seeking approval, or you can't be about, I need approval. I need you to blow my head up.
I gotta have this.
I need you to tell me how awesome I am. I need that. You can't be swayed emotionally. You're secure in yourself.
So you don't need people to flatter you.
And this is why men are partial husbands. Because they'll choose the wife that flatters them. And the one that doesn't flatter them or don't know how to flatter them, that they won't treat them the right way because they don't make them feel the same way. We are so partial, it's crazy. This is where you have the favorite rib and the non-favorite rib. It's all based upon how this person strokes my ego. Why don't we deal with people for who they are and remove yourself from the equation? That's how you can be a better husband, a better brother, a better sister, a better person. But our ego is way more important than the message and the word. How we feel is more important than the help that we have to provide to other people. And that's the problem. This is why when certain people I'm not going there. But let's keep going.
God,
So it says sure, and it said free from care.
from care.
You know,
Having all power.
you know why you have all the power when you hold these approaches true? Because nothing can move you. The approval of people won't move you. You control your emotions.
You don't need the flattery.
How you feel. You don't need the flattery. You're under control. A person can say what they want. It doesn't change how you operate. That is you having the power. But the reason you have the power is because you removed your ego. And you've removed how you feel. You gain the power when you remove everything that you want out to do. And you just make it about the message. Didn't Paul say that the word that he taught, didn't people say that his word was what? Powerful. It was weighty and powerful because he removed everything about himself and just delivered the message. And that's where we always fall short. We deliver the message and we include all of our emotions, wants, and desires in the mix. We inject ourselves and call ourselves counselors. Call ourselves leaders. Call ourselves these heads that should be respected. But we really don't operate in power because we are manipulated by our emotions, by our feelings, by our urges. If you're manipulated by your feelings, emotions, and urgings, you have no power. You have no power in the spirit. The spirit don't work through you. The flesh works through you. The flesh pushes your buttons and moves you like this. But you have the power when the flesh doesn't control you and dominate you. Just the need and the need of the people and the message dominates you. And your desire to develop your people is the only thing flowing through you. A class like this should be a reminder of how much work we have to put into fixing ourselves. If you want to be a potent teacher and a potent leader like everybody says they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's continue.
God, overseeing all things.
You can oversee and you can manage the affairs of your people. You can manage yourself. You can manage the needs of the body when you aren't a part of the equation. When your lust isn't dominating your thinking, your emotions, your anger, your rage, your pride, your ego, your desire for attention. Once you can eliminate all that, you can oversee all things. Now you can properly delegate. Now you can manage your thinking and you can manage the affairs of others. Now you know you're in the spirit. Read on.
And going through all understanding.
And you can go through all understanding. You can understand so much more about yourself. You can understand so much more about your people once you remove you out the equation. Stop making it about you and you can be a better listener. Stop making it about you and you can be a better teacher. Stop making it about you and you can touch and affect more people's lives for the positive. We are limited in who we can affect because we inject ourselves way too much in this truth. Counsel, the ability to counsel, was used by the Most High to help keep the nation afloat. Are you going to sit back here and fix enough things in yourself so that you can actually be of service to your nation? Or are you going to just play Israelite and take your power to gain an advantage in your life? And to see how the Most High looks at you and deals with you on the back end. Because a lot of our people are takers, manipulators, and users. And one-sided people. And we swear the Spirit's with us. Because we talk loud. Or we have charisma. We have the gift of gab. And we live off that and not off changing what's inside of us. To be justified, not just amongst the people, but in the eyes of Christ. Read on.
Pure.
But listen, the message is pure. The message is pure because you're pure. The message is pure and it's weighty because every element of you has been removed. You've fixed you. You're using this word to fix what's inside of you. Now the message is clearer and clearer and more potent.
And it's pure because I'm not positioning myself to solicit to get something.
Done. I know that's the point.
Like, yeah, man, this is a counsel. This is solicitation.
That's the point. When
you salesman, dog?
I know.
Or you a counselor?
God, are you going to give for free? And it's that simple.
Yeah.
And that's how it's pure. Read on.
And most subtle.
And most subtle, most delicate, most gentle. Read on.
And most subtle spirits.
How to deal with spirits, how to deal with people. This is what it takes to touch and develop your people. This is what it takes to be great in Christ. This is what it takes to truly be honored and loved in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. And to truly move your nation. We're going to stop with one more verse. This is normally, we go a little longer, but I think that wisdom something is heavy, and I don't want a lot of folks to overpass that verse and go to the next one. So let's do Acts chapter 17 and 6. Acts 17 and 6. This might be 4 classes. I don't know. Acts 17 and 6.
Acts chapter 17 and verse 6. And when they found him not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the city, crying, These that have turned the world upside down are come hither also.
This is how we turn the world upside down. This is how we make the greatest impact that we possibly can. You can make the greatest impact on your nation if you fix what's inside of you. And you break what's inside of you and detach you from the equation when you develop your wife, develop your children, develop the brothers, be a leader. This is how you can make the significant changes around you for your nation. But are you selfless and loving enough to remove you from your ego, your pride, your emotions, your feelings, your needs? Can you kill all that so you can be of the greatest service you can for your nation? Because that's what the Most High is looking for while He's judging how we counsel and how we speak. With that, we're going to shut it down. All right. I'll see y'all on Wednesday, Sham Shawan's class, and Dawi out on Friday. The water for tuning in. Shalom.